Well, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning into the channel. This is a video for anyone who received a brand new guitar over the holiday period. Maybe you asked for it, but you haven't yet really been able to kind of get to grips with the basics. You haven't been able to kind of get it in tune, set it up properly. It's just a little mini series of lessons just to get you up and running if you've just unwrapped that sweet guitar but you don't know what to do. So one of the most important things to do, and I cannot stress this enough, is to get the guitar in tune. There's no point learning all the shapes and fingering patterns and how to pick and everything else if you get there and it sounds like this. Beautiful. Now it's very hard to tune the guitar if you don't have a musical ear, you haven't developed your tuning skills and you can't just hear the notes that they should be. So the beginner tuning method that I would recommend is either get a tuner. Luckily my guitar has one built in. A lot of guitars these days, electroacoustics do, or if you've got an electric guitar, for example, your setup, you can add in a tuner, or I've discovered that there's a free app that you can download to your phone, and all you do is you play your guitar at it and it will listen to what you're playing and tell you if you're low or high in your tuning, which is incredible. I never had anything like that before. So I'll put a little link up here to an app that you can download that will just save you a lot of time and effort if you don't want to spend any money at all, because I appreciate, you know, Christmas is an expensive time. You might not want to fork out for another bit of kit. But even if you've got your tuner, it's still important to know what you're trying to do. So I'll turn mine on here just so, you know, I use this all the time to make sure that we kind of all end up at the same place here. So we're going to go for standard tuning as a starting place. This app does actually do E-flat tuning. It does F tuning as well, and open tuning and all that, but we'll start with standard tuning because a lot of your basics will be in standard. And the notes of the strings, I mean, it's a great place to start, isn't it? What are the actual strings called? EA, DG, B and E. I call the lower E the bottom string. It's the closest one to you, the fattest one, the lowest in sound. So for me, I view that as the bottom string, whereas the top string, the highest one, is the E octave. But of course at the moment I'm horrendously out of tune, which does not sound nice. So we're going to start off with the lowest string and we're going to take it over to the high ones here, and using your tuner, make sure that you find that E note. Now what you can do by mistake is if you're too high and you start on an F and then you go up, you can end up breaking the strings. So if you just look here, you'll see the sequence of standard notes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it loops around again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. I would try and really make sure that you're below where you want to be. So the way to do that is to down tune your first string. This is just to avoid any snappages, any breakages if you're a real beginner here and you want to make sure you do it right. So just wind that, if it's all stringed up correctly, which it should look like this, wind that as you look at it clockwise. Take it right down. That's low, 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 low. Now gradually wind it up, looking at your tuner. D sharp, we're approaching here. Slightly high. And my tuner helpfully goes green. There we go. Green is good. What I would always advise people to do as well, if you're tuning, is come from below and hit the point where you want to be. Never go above and then tune down. Because in my experience that means that you slip out of tune a lot easier, whereas if you're coming up to it, it just seems to stay in tune a little bit better. So that's your E, then you're going over to the A, the next string. Nice. D next. And each time you're winding these strings up, you're going anti-clockwise on the first three that we've talked about there. So E, A and D, that's anti-clockwise. And they will be in tune if you're using your tuner correctly. And we're going to go over to this G now. And confusingly with the G, if you're looking at it like this, you're winding it the other way, which is clockwise to move it up. B next. You'll get very quick at this in the end, but it's worth just doing it properly the first time. I've overshot it there. And then E again. And if you're going to be really picky, just check your bottom string again. Because sometimes once you've tuned them all up from a long way out, you'll actually find that the bottom ones, because of the increased tension on the neck, have slightly slipped out again. As you can see here, the E needs a little adjustment. Nice. So that's how to tune the guitar with the help of a tuner. If you want a little bonus tip as well, if you want to check that the strings are in tune with each other, but you don't want to keep going back to the tuner, you just think one of them's out, for example, you're going to use the 5th fret on all of your strings except for the G to check with the following string that it sounds the same. So your 5th fret here on your bottom E string is an A. And actually slightly different sounding. If I go back to the tuner, I'll bet I'll find that the E has slipped out slightly. So that's pretty good. There's another way of doing it if you are very used to hearing how your strings sound. You can use harmonics, which is by lightly placing your finger high up on the 12th fret. People find it easier to hear the harmonics, so when they're tuning, because it's in a higher pitch, it's actually easier to work out if the string is out of tune or not. But I wouldn't recommend that method to start with, but it's just worth knowing some of the other ways of tuning just in case you get to that kind of advanced level. But anyway, that's a good little starting place of how to tune your brand new guitar. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any other questions, let me know in the comments below.